Elena Marsh had always believed that some nights carried a strange weight, as if the air itself knew something was about to happen. She felt that weight pressing on her chest as she drove down the narrow mountain road, her headlights cutting through the darkness of the pine forest. She was tired after a long shift at the clinic, and all she wanted was to reach her small cabin and sleep, but then she saw it. A faint orange glow flickered through the trees, far off the main road, near the old ruins that the townspeople always avoided. She slowed her car, staring at the light. Smoke curled upward into the night sky, and her heart began to race. Someone could be trapped. She pulled over, grabbed a flashlight from her glove compartment, and stepped out into the cold air. The wind carried the sharp smell of burning wood. Elena hesitated for only a moment before running toward the source of the fire. The old cabin, long abandoned, was engulfed in flames by the time she arrived. The heat pushed against her skin like an invisible wall. She should have called for help and stayed back, but a small, desperate sound stopped her in her tracks. It was a whimper, soft and pained, coming from somewhere near the collapsed side of the structure. Without thinking of her own safety, Elena moved closer, shielding her face with her arm. Beneath a fallen wooden beam, she saw movement. A small grey wolf pup was trapped, its side pinned by the weight of the burning wood. Its eyes were wide with fear, and it whimpered again, struggling weakly. Elena's hands shook, but she pushed forward. She grabbed the edge of the beam and pulled with all her strength. The wood was hot enough to blister her palms, but she did not let go. Finally, the beam shifted just enough for her to pull the pup free. She wrapped it in her jacket and ran back to her car as the flames grew taller behind her. Her hands stung with pain, but she ignored it, focused only on the small creature trembling against her chest. She drove straight to the animal clinic where she volunteered, her mind racing the entire way. At the clinic, Elena carefully examined the pup. Its fur was singed in places, and it had a shallow cut along its side, but nothing life-threatening. She cleaned its wounds gently, speaking softly to calm it. The pup's eyes, a striking shade of amber, seemed to watch her with an intelligence that felt almost human. She told herself it was just exhaustion playing tricks on her mind. She wrapped the pup in a warm blanket and set up a small bed for it in the back room, checking on it every hour through the night. Sometime near dawn, she finally allowed herself to rest in the chair beside it, her burned hands throbbing beneath the bandages she had wrapped around them. When she woke a few hours later, the pup was gone. Elena searched every corner of the clinic, but there was no sign of it. The window was still latched from the inside, and the door had not been opened. She stood in the empty room, confused and worried, wondering how a small, injured animal could have simply vanished. She told herself there had to be a logical explanation, even though nothing about the night made sense. 3 days later, a man walked into the clinic just as Elena was locking up for the evening. He was tall, with dark hair and sharp grey eyes that seemed to study everything around him with quiet intensity. He wore a long coat despite the mild weather, and there was something about the way he carried himself, calm but powerful, that made Elena pause. "I'm looking for the person who saved a wolf pup a few nights ago," he said. His voice was steady, deep, and carried a strange weight of authority. Elena crossed her arms, still cautious. "That was me. Are you looking for a lost pet?" The man studied her for a long moment before answering. "Not exactly. My name is Ronan. The pup you saved is my younger brother." Elena blinked, certain she had misheard him. "Your brother?" Ronan's expression remained calm, though something flickered behind his eyes, something like gratitude mixed with caution. "It is difficult to explain, and I understand if you do not believe me at first, but what you did that night saved someone very important to my family. I came to thank you and to make sure you are safe." "Safe from what?" Elena asked, her curiosity now stronger than her fear. Ronan hesitated, as if weighing how much to reveal. "There are people who do not wish good things for my family. The fire that night was not an accident. My brother was targeted, and you happened to be there at the right moment. Because of that, you may now be seen as someone connected to us, whether you wish to be or not." Elena's mind spun with questions, but before she could ask any of them, Ronan reached for her hand gently, examining the faint scars from her burns. His touch was warm, almost searing in its intensity, yet oddly comforting. "You risked your life for someone you did not know," he said quietly. "That is rare, and it means something greater than you realize." Over the following days, Ronan returned to the clinic several times, always calm, always respectful, but clearly protective. He explained, slowly and carefully, that his family belonged to an old community, hidden away from ordinary life, one that valued loyalty and courage above almost everything else. He did not go into full detail about who or what they truly were, but Elena began to notice things that did not add up. The pup's eyes had matched Ronan's exactly. The way Ronan moved was quiet and controlled, like someone who had spent his life listening for danger. One evening, as they sat together outside the clinic, Ronan finally admitted something Elena was not prepared to hear. "You are more than someone I owe gratitude to," he said. "Where I come from, there are bonds that form beyond logic, beyond choice. I felt that bond the moment I saw you, even before you knew my name." Elena stared at him, unsure whether to laugh or take him seriously. "Are you saying you believe we're meant to be together? You don't even know me." "I know enough," Ronan replied gently. "I know you ran into a burning building for a stranger. I know you stayed awake all night to protect an injured creature you owed nothing to. That tells me more about your heart than years of conversation could." Despite her disbelief, Elena found herself unable to dismiss him entirely. There was something steady and honest in the way he spoke, something that made her feel safe rather than pressured. He never pushed her to accept anything she did not understand. Instead, he gave her time, visiting often, helping around the clinic, and slowly becoming part of her daily life. But peace did not last long. One night, as Elena walked to her car, after a late shift, two strangers approached her in the parking lot. They moved with unnatural speed, and before she could react, one of them grabbed her arm. She screamed and struggled, her heart pounding with fear. Just as panic threatened to overwhelm her, a low growl echoed through the night, and Ronan appeared from the shadows, his eyes now a deep, glowing gold. He moved with terrifying speed, pulling the attackers away from her and forcing them back. Elena had never seen anything like it, an unmatched blend of strength and controlled fury. Within moments, the strangers fled into the darkness, and Ronan turned to her, his expression filled with worry. "Are you hurt?" he asked, his voice tight with concern. Elena shook her head, still trembling. "What was that? What are you?" Ronan took a deep breath, clearly deciding it was time for the full truth. "My family and I are not entirely human. We are part of an ancient community that lives hidden among ordinary people. My brother, the pup you saved, is next in line to lead our people after me. Those who attacked that night, and now you, want to weaken our family for their own gain." Elena absorbed the information slowly, her mind racing to accept a truth that felt impossible yet strangely made sense of everything she had witnessed. "So I'm in danger because I saved him." "You are in danger because you are important," Ronan corrected softly. "To him, to me, and to everyone who cares about the future of our people." From that night on, Ronan stayed close to Elena, quietly ensuring her safety, without controlling her choices. She met his younger brother, now fully recovered, a bright and lively young man who thanked her with such genuine warmth that she found herself smiling despite the danger surrounding them. She also met members of Ronan's close circle, all fiercely loyal, all watching her with quiet curiosity and growing respect. During this time, Elena's medical skills proved valuable once again. When one of Ronan's trusted companions was injured during a scouting mission, she treated his wounds with the same steady calm she had shown that night in the burning ruins. Her actions did not go unnoticed. Slowly, the doubts among Ronan's people began to fade, replaced by genuine acceptance. Still, the threat against the family had not disappeared. The individuals responsible for the fire and the attack on Elena were planning something larger, hoping to use her as leverage against Ronan and his brother. When Ronan discovered the details of their plan, he moved quickly, gathering his most trusted allies to confront the danger directly. Elena, though frightened, refused to remain hidden while others fought for her safety. She insisted on being part of the plan, offering her medical knowledge in case anyone was hurt. Ronan tried to convince her to stay behind, but her determination reminded him of the very courage that had drawn him to her in the first place. On the night of the confrontation, tension filled the air, as Ronan and his allies faced those responsible for the danger. Elena stayed close but protected, ready to help if needed. The confrontation was intense, filled with quick movements and powerful clashes, but Ronan's leadership and unwavering resolve turned the tide. In the end, the threat was defeated, and peace slowly began to settle over the group. As the chaos faded, Ronan turned to Elena, exhaustion and relief mixing in his expression. "It's over," he said softly. "You are safe now." Elena stepped closer, no longer hesitant, no longer uncertain. "I don't fully understand everything about your world," she admitted, "but I know I don't want to walk away from it. Or from you." Ronan's eyes softened, filled with quiet hope. "I never wanted to force this bond onto you. I only wanted you to choose it, if you ever felt ready." "I'm choosing it now," Elena said firmly. "Not because of fate, but because of who you are, and who I've seen you become." In the weeks that followed, Elena slowly stepped into a life she never could have imagined. She continued her work at the clinic, but she also began learning more about Ronan's world, meeting more of his people, and building trust among those who had once seen her as an outsider. His younger brother often visited her, eager to spend time with the woman who had saved his life, and the bond between them grew into something like family. Ronan remained patient and steady throughout it all, never pressuring her to change who she was, only supporting her as she found her place within his world. Their connection deepened not because it had been declared by fate, but because they had built it together through trust, honesty, and shared hardship. Months later, standing beside Ronan as the sun set over the mountains, Elena thought back to the night she had run into a burning building for a stranger. She never could have guessed that such a simple act of courage would lead her to a life filled with purpose, love, and a family she had never expected to find. As Ronan took her hand, she smiled, feeling for the first time that she was exactly where she belonged.